Rat. Rat. Rat in Blue Archive. Why is she a rat? What is that thing on her ear? How can she talk with her pet Nezuke? And what if I say she is not actually a rat in the first place? Yakushi Saya, a genius inventor at Shanghai Jin Senior Secondary School. She is a genius, having already earned 6 degrees in elementary school. I don't know what kind of degree it is, but rather than being a genius, she is known as a troublemaker who bullies and causes problems for others by her experiments. Saya has been a good friend with her pet, Nezuke, the mouse that is always carries with her since they were a child, and he is definitely a family for her. She also have a big brain and intellect and capable of surprising herself with her invention. As much as she excels at making elixirs and other stuff, and definitely devising plan is not of her part because all her experiment is so random and definitely cause a problem, literally a running gag throughout the Bond story. Except for that one part when she created Shiny, and it caused our heart to go ooh, as one might say. Enough about her background, so let's just tackle into the question or the theory that I'm thinking that she is not originally a rat in the first place. The most obvious part of her body, which is her ear, if you notice there is a tag on her ear written a number of 53218. Those tags are commonly used to tag animals, as in this case, mouse and rat ear tags are used in research and labs animal. But this is definitely a sign that is used for experiments purposes. And back to the numbers, the starting number is 5, and when I search for ear tag for rats, and in this website, all starting number is 5 and followed up by random numbers. I'm not sure, is this a coincidence? But I guess not. I am thinking that this is the result of her experimenting with a rat. But why? As I mentioned before, she has a pet rat, Nezuke, and she is able to communicate with that rat, which is not been shown by other animal mimi girls like Azusa can't talk to cats, or Serika also can't talk to cats except that this kind humanoid cat that is. And I believe she did the experiment to enable her to understand the speech between two species within her and the rat, and resulting her to have an understanding of what Nezuke is saying. And if you're wondering or curious how the rat is look like, if you see on her right hand, there's a ring, rat-shaped ring of a face of a rat. Presumably, that is the rat that she is infused with as a reminder to her for the sacrifices of the rat for her experiment, or just a reminder that she is once a person without a rat ear. Going back to her ear, there is other thing beside the text. There is a writing with a vague letter saying S-A. It could be simply just she doesn't finish writing her name like Saya, like Sa, or as it means Shanghai Jin. But unfortunately, as far as my research goes, I can't find anything related or anything explaining why the letter XA is. Maybe you might know, so do let me know down in the comments below. But there is another theory, an even darker theory. This is very sensitive, and I advise you, for the sensitive person, do skip to this timestamp for a more in-depth of her abilities that she gained when becoming a rat. So let's dive into the dark theory of how she became a rat. Saya is definitely known for a genius, and with her trouble-making experiments, there's a lot of people trying to avoid her, making herself lonelier. And even us as a player don't want her to spook in our gacha pools. And as someone lonely as her, she definitely developed a tendency to get a pet, i.e. the rat itself. And for some of us might get a pet cat to accompany us. And this theory came to me after I read her pistol, which named My Special Pistol. In the description it says, this is a specially made pistol that Saya has modified in many places. Apparently it's also used to give injection to Nezuki. Guns as a syringe? Maybe that's one mystery solved on how this girl getting an injection in Kivitos, as they are well known for their physical strength and immunity towards knife and conventional syringe. But guns, I'm not implying that she tried to summon a persona in Persona 3, but if you notice, just on her right hand, just below the rat-shaped ring, she got a bandage on her wrist. I'm not saying that she's emo, but I think she is emo. And maybe when she tried to give herself an injection, apparently the gun is loaded with chemicals that somehow turn herself into a rat, which is definitely the result that she didn't want. As we see in her EX skill, she throws the chemical to an enemy with Nezuki. Well, it is implying that the chemical is harmless to rats and definitely lethal to Kivito's student. Ah, truly her masterpiece. But when she injecting herself with that poison, she doesn't know there is a slight chance that she herself will turn into a rat instead of leaving the world forever. And soon she realized she developed immunity towards the poison and also an ability to communicate with rat, and found herself Nezuki during her childhood, thus realizing she is no longer lonely and accept the rat as part of her family. So yeah, and that is the second theory. Aside of her physical features, her love for cheese, and her fear of giant cats, she also gained another ability of a rat. In her Bond story, there's a part where she ordered 2 huge bowls of ramen, and there is a delinquent there and quite curious about her, like how can she eat that and not gain weight? And she said that she used this elixir, but in fact she doesn't. She just want to trick them on drinking that for an experiment. But yeah, she does eat both of those ramen and still maintain her weight. But why is that? This must be related to her metabolism rate. As science will suggest, the smaller the body mass of the animal is, the higher the metabolic rate. And I search in the Google obviously, which animal have a high metabolic rate? And I stumble upon this. Common skewers have one of the highest metabolic rate among mammals. And lo and behold, it is also look like a rat. Yes. And that is why I thought Saya is not originally a rat, but in fact just a normal girl like the others. But as her desire grows to talk to her pet, she make herself into one of them. And yes, this is the result. Saya, the scientist, the inventor, the genius, and also a rat with bad skill set. Bruh.